Recording?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Hi, everybody. We're at the beach today, which I'm sure is what you probably think we do every day, but this is our first time at the beach. But it's like, what did you say? 5 miles?
5 miles down the road from
Five
where we're
miles
staying.
from where we're staying.
Yep.
So it's kind of a nice
Yeah.
way to spend the day since we're both off today. So it's been about a week. It was a week on Saturday that we've officially been full-timing. So we thought we should probably do a video and talk about some things that we've learned and kind of give an update for what the last week has been. So the first several days we left later Saturday night, and drove through. So we drove down to Florida over the next 4 days, and primarily dry camped. So we were relying just on the resources of the RV, and then got to a state park where we were able to plug in and use water there. So
Well, we did have the one night in Georgia at the RV park on the way down.
oh yeah, we got really
was
exhausted. I think that was Sunday night, and went ahead and paid to
Monday night.
Monday night.
Monday night we drove like 6.5 hours that day.
Yeah.
Through Atlanta and then stayed at a little private park that was kind of creepy. I thought it was creepy.
Yeah, the lady like came out and was like watching us do stuff, and then she's like, make sure to pick up after your dog and stuff like that, which like we do all the time anyway. So I don't know, it was just we felt like we were being watched, and it was kind of it was just a weird vibe.
Then we went to the state park after.
Yeah. But that was the only night I guess that we paid to camp, just because like we were tired, we wanted some place to stay, and so I guess things that we've kind of learned, other than that, I mean, things have been really good. We originally got 2 different types of internet, and have been relying pretty much just on the unlimited to go hotspot plan that we've used. Verizon has actually been
Verizon's not great.
Yeah, we have not been able to use the hotspot in a lot of places or very regularly, whereas our AT&T hotspot has been working great. So we've both been working. We haven't had hardly any trouble connecting to jobs or using the internet at all. We've been able to watch football and Netflix and things like that. So that's gone really well. But now we're kind of wondering, like, is it even worth it to have this this Verizon hotspot? But we also don't want to make that decision based off of one location, or I mean, I guess a couple locations, but
being in one state, I mean, who knows what it will be elsewhere.
But it has been kind of a surprise, because the automatic assumption is that, like, well, Verizon's going to trump anything, and it hasn't been reliable, really. So I guess that was one thing that kind of surprised us. But other than that, the setup's been great. We've been able to cook in the RV. It doesn't feel like we don't have space at all. Like, it feels very much like home already. I think Mac is Mac is doing really well.
He's done really well. That was probably the one thing that shocked me the most.
The first night, I guess we didn't really think about, or at least I didn't, when we pulled into, I don't remember if this is at the state park or at the first place that we stayed out for one night, but didn't think about the way that dogs get each other barking. And we pulled in, and some dog was barking, and then Mac was barking, and then before we knew it, there was just all this barking from all these different like RVs, and it was just like, oh man, I completely didn't think about that when we thought about bringing our dog. And it's like nighttime, and all these dogs are barking, and I think it must have been a little dog, because he said a lady walked by and was like, I'm so sorry, or something like that, because I guess her dog is the one that started it. But other than that, I mean, he hasn't really, unless somebody approaches the RV or something really loud. He hasn't really, he's been quiet and sleeping. Seems comfortable. So a couple things, though, that we weren't expecting. I guess the internet was one of those. The other was that water, drinkable, usable water, is surprisingly difficult to find. We didn't get water the first night because it's like we didn't want to do it in the dark and make another trip. So we're like, my thought was we'll just get it when we start in the morning. We did not have water until we got to Florida.
Until Georgia. We had a water hookup that first night.
Well, that was a hookup, yeah. Okay, so till Monday.
Yeah.
But that was only because we paid to hook up. If we wouldn't have paid for a camping site, we would not have had water until we got to Florida. We Googled, we looked. we showed up at a Camping World on Sunday thinking we could fill up, and they were closed, and their water was not
like a city main. It was weird. I don't know how to even get.
But like
out.
Googling and everything like that, we could find some places that would allow us to pay to get water at some of their sites. But I guess I was kind of under this impression that if you could get bulk water anywhere. It's water, right? But that was not the case at all. People charged, I mean, when you think about how many gallons, I guess it's not that much, but it's $8, $10, $13, something like that, depending on the resort you go to fill up your tank with water and your RV. I do want to shout out Wood County though in Ohio, because this was before we'd already left Wood County when this happened, but because Google has their location thing. When I was originally searching for places that had bulk water that we could fill up our RV in, it was bringing up stuff in Ohio, and Wood County has several places you can fill up for free, and they have a website with those locations. So I don't know if that's because of the amount of rural people that are out there or what influenced that, but their waste management site actually has potable water stations where you can fill up on bulk water and have them listed on their website, but could not find that local to anywhere we were. So that was kind of a surprise, and is something we'll have to be a lot more cautious of. This next, not next week, but the week after Thanksgiving, we'll be doing another week of boondocking and dry camping, and so making sure that we get stuff like that filled up, and that we are aware ahead of time of where we might be able to go that's sort of close to where we are to fill up our water.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say about water?
Water? No.
No.
Nope. I was going to go on to the dumping thing.
Yes. Okay. You can talk about dumping.
Yeah, we dumped our tanks for the first time a few days ago, and it's actually not bad. Once you get it set up, once you learn how to use all the pieces and parts, we even made it, I think, a little bit harder than it actually needed to be. But yeah, it's pretty sanitary, or it should be if you're doing it correctly.
I was very relieved because so on many of the stations when you dump, there is a connection to a water hose so that you can clean out your hose that your sewage goes through. I was not aware that was something that was regular. And when we went to, at one point we were buying some stuff from the Camping World in Toledo, and I remember driving to leave and seeing the dump station. There was a hose coming out of the dump station and a water hose crossing over this sewage hose. And I just remember thinking, that is so disgusting. I would never ever come get water at this Camping World if they let their water hose touch their sewage hose. But I did not know that it's common to have a water hose next there, but it's not for drinking water, it's for cleaning. Mm-hmm. So that kind of gave me a relief, because I just thought that was super, super disgusting. And I just kept thinking I will never ever get water at this Camping World, because that's just so gross. And we didn't end up getting water in that Camping World, and didn't have water for several days. So, but apparently that's common. So they try to keep it very sanitary. It doesn't really smell. Mm-hmm. You put these, what are they even called? These packs in each time you
just like sanitation.
Yeah, and it helps it helps break down your waste. It helps cover, deodorize. What I don't understand, and I guess it wasn't so bad, but they make the elbows on them clear. And Chase said, it's so that you can see when it's empty. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's unnecessary. I feel like you don't need, and it's the elbow part, right, that connects to the actual dump station, in the ground.
Sewer inlet.
Yeah, the sewer inlet. And it's just everything's black, so you can't see anything. And then there's just this clear section. And it's just I feel like that is not necessary.
It's useful. I find it useful.
But overall, it really wasn't bad. So I think with that done, we feel much more comfortable using the restroom in the RV. Mm-hmm. And it's really not bad. We've got showers down.
Mm-hmm. Showers are actually kind of nice. I find that having that kind of quick, quick shower is actually kind of nice. You don't waste the time. You just rinse off and soap up, and then rinse off again.
Yeah, and we're not great at it, but we do try to live with, some semblance of environment consciousness. And so it's actually forced us to do things that we've talked about in the past, turning off the water, getting wet and then turning off the water and soaping up, and then turning on the water and rinsing, things like that, and being a little bit more conscious about stuff like that. But even the other day I took a shower where I wasn't feeling very well, and did just stand in the water for a minute and the water gets very hot. Our hot water heater is amazing.
Oh, as a sidebar, we couldn't figure out the water heater.
Yes.
So we wasted bunch of water into our gray water tank because we couldn't. We're like, why is there no hot water? We have a couple of we have a propane and a 110-volt switch that you should just be able to turn it on and it turns on. Well, it turns out there's a separate switch that I guess powers those that is on the inside. So you have to flip multiple switches, and it took us about
a long time,
a few hours to actually get this figured out. So, but anyway,
but we got it. And what's nice is that the people that must have had it, I guess, before us, kind of jimmy rigged like a light switch to do that, but we didn't realize that that's what those were for. And we've actually kind of been wondering, like, we wonder what these light switches are for. But so first we had to find, we knew where the hot water heater was on the outside, but to find what was going on the inside, and we thought maybe it was a bypass valve. So we were messing around with valves for a while, and then we were looking at stuff and we're like, okay, where there's supposed to be these buttons, where are these buttons? We can't find these buttons. And then we're like, well, considering where it is, maybe it's these light switches. And then it was like, there we go. But yeah, it took a while, and then we almost filled up our gray water tank continuing to check over and over again. Is it hot? Yeah. But yeah, so showering has been great. Yes, it's a small shower, but that's worked great. The restrooms worked great. We've been able to, do dishes and cook dinner and all of that stuff. So that's been great. As far as dry camping, we were told a lot. Everybody kept saying, Walmart does overnight. They're a great place to stay, which we'd stayed overnight in a Walmart parking lot before. But we learned that the place that it's really great is Cracker Barrel. Yes. They were so nice. They actually have like RV and large vehicle parking in their parking lots. And then it's like they have like curbside food. So we went and we got dinner and got to eat it in the RV, and then we had breakfast the next morning. But their bathrooms are outside of the restaurant, or not out there, in their little store section or whatever. So you don't need to necessarily go through the restaurant if you want to use the restroom or brush your teeth, wash your face. And everybody was just so kind. And the other thing is, unlike a lot of Walmarts, I noticed when we were driving down here that Cracker Barrels are almost always right off of the freeway. So I'm driving this 32-foot long vehicle, and Chase and I drove down here separately this time. It's giving me a chance to get used to the RV, but once we tow up the car, that's going to add another 13 feet or so to what you're driving. That's not easy. I mean, it's not necessarily hard, but it's not really great fun to drive that through like a city center, right? And while there's a lot of Walmarts that are right off of the freeway, a lot of them are further, they're several miles into the city or something, off the freeway. But these Cracker Barrels, they're like signed a lot of times on those signs that give you like your food and gas, on the side of the highway, and they're right off of the freeway. So it's like you get right off the freeway, you turn into a Cracker Barrel parking lot, and they have parking spaces specifically for your RV. They know you're coming. They're super nice. So I think we've definitely decided that for dry camping, when we're trying to get from one place to another, Cracker Barrel definitely wins over Walmart.
I mean, plus the food is good. The food's cheap if you're going to eat there. And we were actually turned away from a Walmart. We actually called and they said, no, we do not. No, we don't take overnight parking, which I think is kind of, now it's more for the Walmarts, it's more hit or miss now. Whereas, and I've even seen online folks who say that they've never been turned away from a Cracker Barrel. So that's also huge.
Yeah. What else did we learn? That we're going to move a little bit slower.
Oh, yeah.
We don't like travel days very much.
Travel days are hard. They're long. And
gas is very expensive on an RV.
It's not cheap.
It's just, we're used to doing 12 hours in a car, and we can do that. But we're not trying to get anywhere. We don't want that feeling of, let's try and get this many hours in today because we're trying to get to this destination far away. So I think we are going to be staying in Florida for at least a little bit. And we have some vacations that are in there already, but I think we're going to take it a little bit slower than we initially thought because one, we're really enjoying it here. It's like mid 70s. It's
high today is 85.
High today is 85. It's beautiful. The people are super nice. Like everybody we've met has been super nice. It's gorgeous. I've seen pictures of both Ohio and New Mexico, and I think we're just in no rush to head in directions where it's snowing. So I think we're going to be here for a while. RV resorts.
They're weird. They're the suburbs of, I feel that they're the, suburbs of the RV world, which is, it's weird. They're very, at least the one we're in is super tight, super crowded. I mean, they're cool in that they have a lot of things going on if you want to use them.
Interact
They have a
with people.
store, or laundry, or they have sports fields and
Yeah.
all kinds of things that I don't really personally care about. So I guess if you're more of that kind of person, that's great. But they're kind of it's like a suburb, which I've never been.
Yeah.
Great, and they're big and crowded. Is kind of how I feel about it.
You're very, very close to your neighbors.
The one nice thing is how for me, our site's super level.
Yeah.
And it's on concrete. That's nice. But other than that,
Yeah, I think it'll be us trying to balance what we want atmospherically and aesthetically around us and money. Because while generally RV resorts would be probably the most expensive route to go, because we have a membership, we pay $50 a month, we get 3 weeks a month of no charge in several RV resorts. So it actually ends up cheaper for us to do that, and then we're not paying for propane, we're not paying for gas for the generator, that kind of stuff. Then it might be for us to pay, $20 a night or free and do boondocking or dry camping. So we'll probably be in resorts a little bit more than we might otherwise than we would have maybe chosen personally if it wasn't
1,000 trails.
Yeah, if it wasn't just financially a really good idea for us to stay in resorts, because it is. I mean, it's super crowded. People are super close to you, and everybody's very nice. It's just it's not
the most it's not the most scenic or relaxed feeling kind of place. But I mean, it's quiet. It's been fine, but it's just it's a little strange. But I think, is that it? I think so. I think those are the major things so far. So it's been a good week, and we'll keep you guys updated. And I think, like I said, we're here and at our resort until just after Thanksgiving, and then we'll be going to a wildlife management area in kind of central Florida. Would you say? It's Lake Penasofkee, which is about 45 minutes from here. Yeah, it's a little bit. It's just east. Of where we are now, and
so we'll be there for a week or so, and I don't know, maybe we'll get eaten by bears. Then you won't get an update because we will be dead.
That's a dark note to end on.
Yeah. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll just see bears and it'll be a fantastic time. Yeah. Okay. That's it.